Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to this weekly trade recap video. This week I've actually only taken two trades. First trade is pound Swiss. It's currently running for about 2% profit right now. And second trade is euro dollar, and I got a break even here. So I'm gonna dig into what my trade entries are, what's my management, and then take it from there. So any question, comment, feel free to let me know below, and let's get started. So pound Swiss, starting from the higher time frame. Starting on the higher time frame, I see that a pretty clear kind of a double top formation. This is actually the previous continuation correction for the COVID drop here. So very significant area to watch out for what the price will do. And from a higher time frame perspective, we see a double top here. Price breaking the double top falls into a bearish kind of reversal correction. We know these type of rising wedge or ascending kind of channel. They're very powerful when they are at the top of the overall structure, and we start seeing signs of reversal kind of price action on the lower time frame. So we go down to a lower time frame, we can see that same kind of a rising wedge ascending channel structure. We push the price up, and then there is that small ascending channel within as well. You can see the top, there is a head and shoulder pattern here and a very strong bearish move down. This is a very clear lower time frame bearish impulse at phase. And we know that after a reversal correction, if it's followed by an impulsive phase, likely we're going to get a continuation correction and resume the bearish trend. So I was looking for opportunities here to get in on a potential continuation. If you guys recall, the week before this week, I actually got in on a sell position here, end up with just about 0.5% profit when this move couldn't push down lower and kind of reverse back up. But I always update everyone that the overall correction, the overall price is still there. Just because the previous move doesn't drop down doesn't mean the next one or the future one won't. And I was still paying attention to if we can get some sort of reversal within the lower time frame. So when I look into deeper this week, when I saw that there is a bearish move price, there's a bullish price push up to the up, and then supposed to be followed by a continuation. That's how we usually would expect for the price to do. But it was followed instead by a reversal correction, and price pretty much had a reversal impulse down, followed by a continuation correction. So pretty much a bullish impulse and followed by a reversal impulse, which is what I want to see from the price. So I open with a pretty clean entry order here once this correction finished. Put the entry order here and put the stop loss above the high. You can see right when price tagged me in here, when I update everyone in the New York live session market update, price just keep pulling back, and then pretty much I was 5 pips away from the stop. And based on my plan, based on our risk management, we don't move the stop loss, right? I made a little mini lesson here during the stream was I wasn't going to move my stop loss. I was just going to let the trade run. A lot of mistakes that newcomers usually make is they're going to move up their stop loss, or they're going to exit the trade here to think they're going to secure or save at least this much money. And over the years, when I do these, over these years, when you do journal, you begin to realize to stay consistent, you just follow your plan, follow your stop loss, follow your management, and this is exactly it. Price pushed to the upside and just was like 5 pips away from breaking my stop loss, but just kind of pushed down, consolidated it, and then eventually go down. So as we see right now, price is pretty much running. To me, I think it's about 2% profit right now. So my stop loss is break even already. I want to see if this is going to be a correction here, and we're just going to see further correction on the lower time frame and continue going down, because ultimately I want to see price go below this level here. This is an area where I'm going to really watch out for, because if price hits to the bottom of the correction here, and if it kind of start reversing back out, I'm going to take some profit here and then observe more. But if price just breaks below here and then followed by more lower time frame correction, then I expect this price to move back to the previous low and a very good healthy profit, about 10 to 1 or so. So again, management is key. Always have a plan before you enter the trade so that you don't make emotional decision. So that's the first trade from last week, from this week, pound Swiss running about 2% right now, and we'll see how the price move up onto this next week. Second trade I took was euro dollar. So I took a short on euro dollar, and I'll go over kind of my management and what's my decision to enter a trade like this. So we look back on where the trade was when I entered the trade. When we look at the higher time frame perspective, at the time for me, when I'm looking at the higher time frame, I like how there is clear bearish impulse, correction, bearish impulse, and I was looking at this to see if this is going to be expanding structure. As in my videos, I always talk about expanding structures are going to be a little bit more advanced because they can be reversal or continuation, right? There can be an impulse correction or an impulse down, or this can be a big reversal when we go upwards. To me at the time, I see a little bit more bearish kind of bias. I see that this was the previous high, price broke, but we can see that impulse followed by correction, supposed to be followed by another impulse, and continuation to go up further. But instead, if we look at the lower time frame here, what I end up getting is this bullish push up on the price. There's a little bit of a correction here, and then push up followed by a reversal impulse. So this is beginning to me like a first sign of a potential head and shoulder at the top of the overall structure. We just broke this high, and we're having a little bit of a reversal kind of price action at the time. So my plan at the time was either we're going to enter a position like this when we break out, and then if it breaks out completely followed by another continuation, I was going to scale in on a potential short like this down to the low. And that was my plan all along, making this a bigger head and shoulder pattern to go down. So at the end, I enter with this kind of lower time frame correction. I knew there's a little bit earlier, this will be a kind of a reversal entry that I always talk about instead of a correction after breakout. But I knew the risk behind. I knew that if I could get in on this position, followed by a continuation, I will be on one trade here and the second trade here, and the risk reward and the potential direction to me is there. So I was waiting for a correction. I was waiting for some sort of development here, and pretty much price did form this on the lower time frame here. There was a kind of a flag, so impulse correction, up in with the entry order. Price tagged me in and then pushed down. Actually hit 1-to-1, and that's usually when I'm going to put my stop loss to break even anyways. Protect my trade, 30 pip stop loss above the high here. I can actually even argue for a 25 pip stop loss, but either or, it hits my 1-to-1 profit. And this is during the New York session live market update as well, so I'll update everyone on this position. I knew that if this price here doesn't continue to form, doesn't come push down from this correction here, we're likely to just get a little bit more consolidated, maybe a push up to the high here before the drop. And I didn't want to hold through this trade, especially my stop loss is just 30 pips. I didn't want the price to hit 1% and then reverse back up, taking me out for a 0.1% loss instead. So during that time in the New York session, I just moved it to break even. And as we see the price eventually come out here and then take me out during this time. So looking back at this, it's really fine with the overall trade, overall management. I like how there is that lower time frame head and shoulder. The entry was there. It was a good reversal entry while we're in the overall ascending channel and then within the expanding structure as well. So after that, when I kind of still monitoring the price, and price eventually kind of leads into a more bullish move currently, I see that prices potentially this could be a potential continuation to go higher. But again, our biases are still there for me. If this pushes up to the upside and then really had a sharp reversal down followed by a continuation like this can just be an extension of this head and shoulder pattern, and we're still going downside afterwards. Okay, so the only time that I will actually agree that, or at least change my bias for a bullish upside, is when I see further continuation. I think this high would be a good area for price to see if we can just break above and follow by continuation. Then this ascending channel is no longer valid. This expanding structure becomes a reversal correction to go the upside instead of a continuation. Then I will change my bias. So that is really all how trading is. And the mini lesson here is we always want to make forecasts, we want to make analysis because that's going to help us to understand the market. So if a potential entry doesn't happen, if this move doesn't break down followed by continuation, then no entry for me, right? Save my capital. And if the bullish price action continue to expand and continue to develop, then I will look to change my bias, because that is all this in trading. It's a probability game. We don't need to be married to analysis, right? We don't need to have ego. At the time, if the bearish market is there, I'm going to look for a bearish bias. But if the bearish opportunity or the bearish price action is no longer there, then I'm going to look for a bullish bias. That is how I've been always adapting to all kinds of market changes, and that's how we can stay consistent in the long run. So to recap, one trade on euro dollar took out for break even here, and then the other trade on pound Swiss running about 2% right now, running about 2%, and I'm looking to see if we're going to get further downside. The key here is to just wait for price to actually break out here, followed by continuation. That is going to be a good scaling position that I'm looking to get in as well. So that is it, guys. Just two trades from last week. One is running about 2%. The other one is taken off for break even. Any question, let me know below, and welcome to chat you guys next time in my trade weekly outlook video. All right, thank you very much, guys.